Good evening. It is 10 p.m. here in Seoul. I am Adi, the AI anchor with the headline news. Israel carried out an attack on Iran on Friday as reported by CNN, Reuters, and other sources. Iran state media reported that 3 drones were seen above Isfahan, activating an air defense system that destroyed them. It added that there was no damage and all facilities in the area are secure, including significant nuclear facilities. This is 6 days after Iran launched hundreds of drones and missiles in retaliation against Israel, following a suspected Israeli strike on its embassy compound in Syria. The South Korean won has plunged against the greenback, along with the stock market, driven by increased safe haven demand amid heightened conflict in the Middle East. At the close of Friday's session, the $1 exchange rate hit 1,382, 9.3 Korean won higher than the previous close. The country's benchmark Kospi index also took a hit, coming to a close at just over 2591, which is 1.63% lower than Thursday's close. This comes following reports of Israel launching retaliatory missile attacks on Iran early on Friday morning, in addition to an official from the U.S. Central Bank mentioning the possibility of an interest rate increase, causing the dollar to sharply appreciate. In light of these developments, Finance Minister Choi Sang-moo called for all ministries to strengthen their emergency response systems to prevent any negative impacts on the South Korean economy. The South Korean government has changed its plan to expand the medical school enrollment quota. In Friday's briefing at 3 p.m., Prime Minister Han Duck-soo announced that the government will allow medical schools to freely decide the number of students who can enroll, but only for 2025. But it is maintaining the overall number at 2,000. Also, the universities that decide to reduce the number of new students for next year need to increase the number of places for 2026. Each university has to announce its official admissions guide, including the number of new students by May, after approval from the Korean Council for University Education. Starting May 1st, South Korea will fully shift its COVID-19 status to endemic, lowering the disease in its 4-level crisis system from the second highest to the lowest level of attention. This decision comes more than 4 years after the first COVID-19 infection was identified on January 20, 2020. The health authorities cited the country's stable situation with a low fatality rate, and none of the particularly dangerous variants being detected, as the reasons behind the decision. As South Korea fully shifts to an endemic approach, some of the remaining mandatory measures, including indoor mask requirements at hospitals and other facilities, will be lifted. Additionally, government coverage of associated medical costs will end, no longer paying for COVID-19 tests or the hospitalization of severely ill patients. South Korea will create a venture capital fund to encourage private investment in clean energy projects. Finance Minister Choi Sang-moo announced the plan to create the fund, amounting to 23 trillion won, or around $17 billion, at the recent G20 finance leaders meeting in Washington, D.C. Choi also said that the South Korean government would continue to invest actively in multilateral climate funds, as well as initiatives aimed at assisting developing countries reduce their carbon emissions. That brings us to the end of tonight's AI headline news. Thank you for watching. Good night.